Insights in Lesson 2.6, The Digital Self. We are living in a world where technology is everything. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning till the time we fall back asleep. This routine peaked during the start of the pandemic. We are told to stay inside and practice self-isolation or self-quarantine, and technology has been keeping us sane during those times. Nowadays, from working to studying and even shopping can be done online. However, these easily accessed tools we have also comes with its negativity, a true blessings and a curse. Digital self is the self which live inside digital realm. For some of us, these bear multiple meanings as we prefer to live in an online persona which separates us from our physical self, while others see the digital as a more holistic identity that extends beyond physical. With the use of social media, we can build a bigger, better side of ourselves. It can be our escape to reality and make ourselves appear more important than we are. In digital self, we have what we call self-presentation and impression management. This refers to an individual's attempt to control how people portray themselves in social interactions for both conscious and unconscious. Some forms may be authentic or being transparent, tactical, or someone who has hidden and underlying reasons. This is common on online sellers, and selective or someone who is selective to what they post online. The technology we have gives us more opportunities to thrive as a community. It can also provide entertainment, faster and easier communication, and a lot more things. But it can also promote a handful of negative effects to its consumers. The spread of many fake news and fake accounts is part of our daily life, and we also have the cancel culture, which can negatively affect one's mental health. Lastly, we have Republic Act 1017-3, otherwise known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012. It is an act protecting individual personal information in information and communication systems in the government and the private sectors. Technology is a great thing, a great tool, and can be an even greater friend if everyone can learn how to use it properly. We must always remember to view the digital self as important as the other aspect of self, and let us promote and create a safer online environment for everyone.
The subject Understanding the Self has truly opened my eyes about things concerning my well-being. It has greatly helped me point out the questions I've been meaning to ask myself but I wasn't able to clearly formulate before. This subject was able to guide me in understanding myself and unraveling who I truly am beneath the surface. Also, understanding the self was not entirely only about me. It also helped me learn and understand other people, which I am sure that it will help me in every day of my life. But among all the lessons that was covered by this subject, the lesson about the aspects of life was for me really was a game changer and eye-opener. For a starter, I learned a lot about my physical self. In addition to that, I also encountered a lot of theories that were really interesting. For instance, the theory of physiognomy, which people try to learn about others' personalities based on the facial features that they have. Second, I got to learn about my sexual self, from reproductive organs of male and female to addressing how body responds or work when aroused. Further, in this lesson, underlying diseases or illnesses caused by sexual activities were mentioned, which I find really informative. The consequences as well as the preventative measures were also elaborated. The lesson about material self has taught me about giving importance to what really matters, which are our relationship with others rather than trying to satisfy an unending needs for material things or physical things. This lesson made me realize how important being thankful for a small thing is. I also get to deeply connect with my spiritual self with the help of one of the aspects of life, spiritual self. What really struck me in this lesson specifically was that by truly knowing oneself, one must go through suffering, because by suffering, we can open our eyes to discover our purpose in life. Also, political self has taught me that our relationship with other people is truly essential in order to make the world works. That whatever attempt we think of avoiding politics, we won't entirely get away with it because politics has always been a part of what makes us humans. And the last aspect, but surely not the least, is the digital self. Living in a world where technology runs it, this was really the most helpful for me. I learned the pros as well as the cons of technology, and I realized a lot of things. That submitting our life entirely to technology is never okay. We can't deny the fact that it holds great influence to us, but it shouldn't entirely control our life. These were just glimpses of how much knowledge I learned and gained in this subject, and I will continually seek for more information that would help me become the best version of myself.
So one lesson that I've learned in understanding the self is all about the material self. So what is material self by definition? So material self, according to William James, the self is everything that an individual considers to be his or hers, not only his or her body and material possessions, but also his or her reputation and beliefs. The self, therefore, is composed of material self, which is the manifestation of one's identity through his material possessions. So, sa madaling salita, ano nga ba ang material self? Material self is what we acquire in life, all our material possessions. And it is also our distinction. It talks about our social class, our personality, and our character as well. Since I have mentioned that the material things that we acquired is also a distinction of our personality and character as a person, the question that I have kept in my mind and while tackling this lesson is, masama nga bang maghangad ng mga bagay, ng mga material na bagay kung hindi naman talaga natin ito kaya? And to answer that question, yes. Una, lalong-lalo na if we want to acquire that thing just to fit in to society's standard. At pangalawa, if we want to please other people na, ako, may ganito na din ako, may ganito na din ako, isa yun sa nagpapasama. At pangatlo, if we are only doing that to satisfy ourselves, to satisfy our greediness. Dito na papasok ang concept ng materialism. So, materialism refers to giving more importance to material possessions than intangible values. Mas pinahalagahan natin mismo kung ano yung bagay, kung ano yung mga nahahawakan nating bagay, gaya ng cellphone, ng mga kotse, ng mga mahaling alahas, mas pinahalagahan natin yun kaysa mismo sa value niya. Let's say, sa atin, mas importante sa atin ang magka-iPhone 13 Pro Max kaysa magkaroon ng mga mabubuting kaibigan. So, that is also bad. So, dito sa materialism na to, if our mindset is set to gusto ko to, hindi natin masatisfy yung sarili natin, then that could lead to psychological dysfunction. Hindi tayo magiging satisfied sa kung ano yung meron tayo. Yung utak natin, it will always aim for something greater na kahit hindi naman natin kailangan, gusto pa rin natin makuha. And next is the consumerism, wherein consumerism is the consumption of material goods and services in excess of one's basic needs. So, good example na lang dito is yung nangyari ngayong pandemic, wherein, di ba, divided tayo sa social class natin. Yung mga nasa high class, when it comes to distribution of goods, syempre sila yung nangunguna because they have the money to buy their needs. So, kahit eto lang yung kailangan nila, bibili sila ng bibili hanggang sa maubos nila. At bababayan. Sa middle class and sa lower class, wala nang matitira sa kanila dahil wala silang makonsume, dahil nabili dahil nabili na ng lahat ng mga nasa itaas. So, ganyan yung nangyari ngayong pandemic. Nagkaubusan ng alcohol, ng face mask, because we consume more than what we need. Most important lesson that I've learned while discussing the material self is that it is not bad to be a materialistic person. What makes it bad is when we become greedy of acquiring things, even if we don't need it. Even if it's not really that important to us, we just want to go get it because it satisfies our greediness. So, laging tatandaan na whatever the material possessions that we have right now, we should be happy and contented to.
Let's talk about the spiritual self. Now, this aspect of the self is commonly overlooked, but the truth of the matter with regards to this aspect is it is equally important as the other aspects. Here's what I learned about it. When we talk about the spiritual self, we are addressing to the inner part of our being. That is, the part of the self that connects to the universe, the sacred, and the supernatural. Now, why is it so important? This aspect is important because it gives our lives a deeper purpose or meaning. To give an example, let's take a look at the faith experience of some of the celebrities here in the Philippines. In the list, we have Mr. Baron Geisler, Miss Rica Peralejo, as well as Miss Maxine Magalona, if you have ever came across their stories. The common observation from the faith experience of these artists is that in search for the purpose of life and the meaning of it, they found out that the answer is by means of forming a relationship with a transcendent being. Like their experiences, by being one with the higher being, we are able to find comfort, security, and stability in times that we feel lost or empty. Related on this matter, Viktor Frankl introduced 3 ways to rediscover the purpose of life. The first one is by doing a deed, which requires rising from an instance. When we manifest good actions despite our sufferings, we eventually rediscover the purpose of life. The second one is by experiencing a value, which includes being able to love the person that caused you pain or hurt you. The last one is by suffering, where we find the meaning of our sufferings and bad experiences. Hence the quote, "To live is to suffer, but to survive is to find the meaning of suffering." All of these 3 ways is what we call today as of the logotherapy. Truly, as we are living, we will always have our whys. Why did I have to go through this? Why did I have to experience that? But fret not, because it is our whys that will find our house. How to get through this, how to get through that. You just have to let it lead you. You just have to let your purpose find the right way for you. Now that's on spiritual aspect of the self.
A topic that I will be discussing and will be giving an insight into is Lesson 2.2, which is the sexual self. Sex education is one of the essential knowledge a person needs to learn. Sex education is a taboo topic to many families, leaving many children uneducated on sex education. In this subject, understanding the self aims to teach sex education and break all stigmas connected on the topic. And it is also a way to establish an open-mindedness to such topics. In this lesson, we understood a better perspective on the biological phases of a sexual response of person. I didn't know about all of this before, but it is an excellent opportunity to earn more knowledge about the sexual response cycle of a person during intercourse. Furthermore, this lesson is also a way to understand and break stigmas about sexually transmitted infections and diseases. The public disgusts people with STIs such as HIV, etc. due to the misinformation and lack of sex education taught in schools or at their homes. In this lesson, I realized we shouldn't discuss people who have this. Instead, we should help them and spread awareness about STIs. The use of contraceptives is the primary way to prevent sexually transmitted diseases. And I am also glad that we have a law like the Reproductive Health Act of 2012, also known as the RH Law or the Reproductive Health Law, that guarantees universal access to methods of contraception, improved sexual education, and etc. This is are my insights in this lesson. Thank you very much.